Can you please state your name?
Mark Guile, Mark with a K, Guile spelled G-E-I-L.
Tell me a little about yourself, your background, like childhood, where you from.
I was born in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I grew up there until I was 18. I then left New Mexico, went to Washington State, went to school there, stayed there for 12 years, and then moved back to Albuquerque for grad school. From Albuquerque in 2010, I moved to Jackson.
And what exactly is your title?
My title is Assistant Professor of Art, and I primarily teach photography and also the professional practices class.
Can you remember taking research as an undergraduate?
Yes.
Can you explain your experiences, or how was that for you?
Well, in terms of research methodology or research practices, is that what you're kind of getting at?
Yes.
Okay. Yes and no. I do remember distinctly when I started doing photography, and it was that we had a class, and they split up the class into two groups. One group was to do photography or visual arts. The other group was going to do writing. And prior to that, I'd always done writing. I'd always done American history, political economy, those types of subjects. So I decided to do the visual arts component, and I kind of never stopped. So,
Did your thoughts change on research methods after taking the course?
I guess I've never taken a research methods class per se. It's been folded into different courses, but I've never taken a course that just says these are research methods. You know, I did do the scientific method when I would take hard science classes like chemistry. You know, where you start with a hypothesis and then you test it. But in terms of, you know, the strict research methodology for fine art or photography, I haven't. I mean, yeah, it's weird when you talk about research methods in art. It's a little bit different. It's not as straightforward. You do research in terms of how your art is situated in the historical canon, how your art relates to other artists, contemporary and historical, how your art might relate to science, how your art might relate to history. So, you know, I have done those kinds of pathways of research in terms of fine art. It doesn't exist in a vacuum. It doesn't operate on its own. A lot of times art is fixed in a point in historical time, cultural time, political time.
What led you to choose the major you decided?
That gets back to, it was just a decision. They just split us in half, and I just wanted to do visual art. And from there, really made an intensive study of photography and related media.
Here at Jackson State, are you a tenure track or a tenure professor already?
I'm a tenure track.
What does it take, or what has the process been to become a tenure professor at Jackson State University?
In general, they have three areas that you would focus on. One would be service, teaching, and research. And they kind of expect you to spread your time and efforts among those. You know, so in terms of service, you're expected to serve on committees throughout the department, the college, and the university level. Teaching is, you know, developing new classes, being involved and current with your area of expertise. So for me, it's knowing what's happening with digital photography now. What are the new programs? What are the new cameras? So staying current. And then research is, in terms of art, your creative activity. So there's a big emphasis placed on things that are peer reviewed. So in other words, other artists have reviewed it and consider it adequate or worthy or exceptional enough to display in a museum or a gallery. So for us, for artists, our creative activity centers around doing art shows, so an exhibition record.
What university did you get your graduate degree from?
The University of New Mexico in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
And in your graduate course, what was the topic of your dissertation?
It was small museums, so the kind of the visual politics of display. So I would photograph museums, and I was interested not so much what they were showing, but how they were showing it. So my thesis centered on primarily institutions of knowledge, specifically museums, and even more specifically how they display knowledge, how they present knowledge to the public.
What type of research would you say you conducted? Was it qualitative or quantitative?
Qualitative.
Why?
Because I would travel to different museums that were qualitatively different. Either small private ones or larger, more institutional ones, and kind of look at those and see how they match up against each other. So it wasn't so much data-driven, but qualitatively driven.
What are some areas in whatever the discipline that you're working on now?
I've been working with a group in the Delta. We've been meeting there in the summers and photographing in that area and doing kind of a visual survey of the Mississippi Delta. Around Cleveland, Greenwood, and we've been working on that. Also, I've been working with two colleagues on a multimedia piece called Drawing Noise, and that is one is a painter, one is a composer, and then I do the photography and the editing. So we've had a collaborative piece that we've made and that are now showing around the country and around the world.
How important do you think it is for undergraduates to complete a course like a research methods?
Within their major. Yeah, it's crucial. It's crucial. Once you leave school and are working in your field or trying to work in your field, having those code of ethics, if you're talking about mass communications, the methodology, how to get at the story, how to tell the story, and there's a lot that goes into it.
Any suggestions for upcoming researchers like myself?
Find a hero. Find someone whose research inspires you, and then kind of follow them, read what they wrote, kind of trace their education and see it as a model. To be curious, but also to have a model. So if you have a hero that you want to aspire to, it makes things really clear.
Speaking of hero, who was somebody that you looked up to?
Well, I had a kind of singular mentor as an undergraduate in photography, and so it was very straightforward. He was my mentor, but he was also my model. So I looked at his life, and it was a pretty straightforward exchange. I just wanted to be like him. Mm-hmm. So I looked at him, and he went to graduate school in photography, so I went to graduate school in photography. So I owe him a lot in terms of inspiring me. But at the same time, he only liked 3 photographs I ever took. So it wasn't about that wanting approval in that way. It was a different kind of relationship.
And at this moment, are you currently a mentor to anybody?
I hope so. I hope so. You never really know. I know from my educators, my teachers, sometimes it's like a time bomb. They'll give me some knowledge, and maybe 5 years, maybe 10 years down the road, it'll unfold. That lesson will unfold, whatever it is. So sometimes it's not it's a delayed reaction.
What is your most memorable, like, artwork or showcase that you've done at Jackson State?
In Jackson State,
Mhm.
or
Well,
my
first-
time?
First at Jackson State, and then, you know, and like overall.
I think this fall we did a show, or one of my classes we went to Figment, which was a community arts festival, and set up a fortune telling booth. And so I think for everyone involved, you know, the community, the class members, myself, it was really fun just to set it up and to spend the day telling fortunes to people.
What made you decide to come to Jackson State to teach and to share your knowledge with others?
Well, I answered a job. There was a job announcement in the College Art Association. That's the national kind of place where jobs are published. So I applied through there, and I had never even driven through Mississippi or the South. So part of it was going into the unknown. Was interesting.
So was Jackson State your first opportunity, or was it like another college, or you start off at a high school?
Well,
Like,
it was, yeah, I was right out of graduate school that I applied, and it's very, very competitive. And I was happy to work at a public institution because I'd always gone, my whole life I've gone to public institutions. So it was important for me to teach at a public institution. There's something really valuable, critical, and compelling about public institutions.
what are all the classes that you teach at Jackson State?
I teach introduction to photography, intermediate photography, studio lighting, advanced photography, and then kind of the final senior photography portfolio development, and also the senior class for the whole art department, which is Art 454, and it's called Portfolio Development, and that's where we have the senior show during April 9th. Be there, 4 to 6 p.m.
Dealing with research, what is one thing that stuck with you? Like going through your research classes, what is one thing that stuck with you that you learned that you thought was most important throughout your classes?
That's a good question. Why don't you answer first, and then that'll give you some time. For this class, what's the most important?
The most important thing I've learned is actually what research actually is. Learning to conduct research is something that I think is most important that we learned at this class.
Yeah. Now that you say that, I remember first encountering primary sources. So if you're researching, someone referenced a text, and you would actually go to that text. If they referenced, another text, you would go to that text until you got to the very first primary source. If that was an interview, if that was an article, if that was a book, whatever it was, that was the primary source. So the importance of that, not just things that are derived from that.
Is there anything else you would like to add to leave with us?
Are there actually any upcoming art shows other than the one you just told us about?
This year, I'm trying to think, not on campus. This is the last one for this year, but next year we'll start a whole new season.
So where can we actually?
There is gallery. Sorry.
Yeah.
Gallery 1. There's a show. There's 2 shows of photography, historical photography, and also I don't remember who's on the other side. There's 2 2 walls, but Gallery 1 has a show up as well. There's 3 galleries on campus, one at Johnson Hall, one Liberal Arts, and one at Gallery 1. So there's plenty of opportunities to look at art, and we're really close to the Mississippi Museum of Art, and they have upcoming April 10th, the Eudora Welty Biennial, which is going to be exciting, and they have a group of Civil War drawings currently on display, as well as the Mississippi Story, which is a permanent collection of Mississippi artwork.
Another question. A lot of public schools at the elementary level are trying to get rid of art and music and those type of programs. How important do you think those programs are to the development of students?
They're vital for a number of reasons. They enhance critical thinking skills, the lessons you learn about creativity and thinking creatively translate over to math, science, English, history. So it's a way of thinking about the world. It's a way of observing the world. And, you know, I can understand they're always the first looked at in terms of cutting them for budgetary reasons. But if you don't have a dedicated art teacher, you still need to fold that into your other lesson plans, you know, because people learn in different ways. So when you give them a creative outlet, it's only going to help their education. So it's a nationwide trend, but hopefully at least, is anyone here going to be a teacher?
I want to.
Yeah, so there's ways that you can fold art and fold music into your lesson plans. And if you're teaching history, American history, you can touch on those things.
Well, the Supergroup would like to thank you for taking the time out of your schedule for having this interview with us. So, thank you.
Thank you.